Hi, I'm Veronica, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of BABA Therapy Group. I'm here today to talk to you about why it is important to cultivate flexibility of our autonomic nervous system. What is our autonomic nervous system? You've probably heard of the fight, flight response, freeze, fawn, and in relation to trauma or just dealing and relating to life. So I want to introduce you to the work of Dr. Stephen Porges, who developed the theory of polyvagal theory, which further refined our understanding of the autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system is made up of two parts, sympathetic and parasympathetic. The way I remember them is that sympathetic nervous system is a part that gets engaged when we are aware of or anticipating danger, alarm, unsafe situations. The sympathetic nervous system engages, begins to fuel us and motivate us to take action to flee or fight what might be a dangerous situation. The parasympathetic nervous system is what comes in and takes over to sort of down-regulate that sympathetic nervous system charge, helps us to re-regulate, calm. It's our relaxation response is another term that's been used to describe the action of the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the work of Dr. Stephen Porges and his polyvagal theory is really beautiful because it's further refined our understanding of the nuances of the movements we make up and down our autonomic nervous system, from sympathetic to what is the middle part, which is called ventral vagal, where we're most fluid, we feel most at ease, most safe, able to engage socially and actively with others and activities in our lives. And then extreme parasympathetic calming, relaxation, or shutdown is called dorsal vagal response. Now, why it's important to become more acquainted with our own individual experiences of our nervous system and learn how to regulate them and learn how to increase our flexibility is because the more able we are to move up and down that ladder of our nervous system, the more able we are to spring back from what might be stressful or scary or traumatic experiences in our life. Now, it is true that some traumas do get frozen in our bodies. That's what the trauma response is. That's what PTSD is described as. And certain habitual patterns that are out of awareness are really, truly often unresolved traumas that we have frozen in our bodies on a cellular level, on a nervous system level, that we are continually repeating in terms of our patterns of response and reactivity. So learning to understand what they're made of on a sensory basis, what we feel in our bodies, what begins to happen to the temperature of our body, to our cheeks, to our palms, to our heart rate, to our breath, when we're either feeling a sympathetic charge and or a parasympathetic shutdown. Now, the trauma response can show up either in extreme hypervigilance, where somebody is living in a state of sympathetic activation, or a state of hypoarousal dorsal vagal response, where people tend to be more shut down, checked out, lethargic, disengaged from life. We can go to either extreme. So a few practices that I would invite you to try yourself, and if you're a therapist, to try it with yourself, of course, and with your clients and patients, is first and foremost, start with making self-contact, bringing your hand to your heart, and just noticing your heartbeat. That is the first and foremost important place to start, which is just beginning to become acquainted with the beating of your heart. Sometimes people, are noticing the aftermath of an increased heart rate, but they're not aware of what their resting heart rate feels like when they're at peace or calm. So just first making contact, feeling the outline of your hand on your heart, noticing the beating of your heart. While doing so, drawing in a deep inhale slowly, perhaps counting, inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding for a count of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling on a longer count of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Making self-contact and incorporating mindful breath are really essential and important practices in becoming acquainted with our physiology, with our sensory holding of ourselves, and it might be a new experience for many people. Continual practice of extended exhales, breathing, exhaling longer than the inhale. So inhaling on a count of 4, exhaling on a count of 6 is a very, very basic and simple way and accessible to everyone that can help bring calm and ease to your body. Now, if somebody you're working with or you might be someone who tends to feel not a whole lot or checked out, that's my phrase, checked out, or numbed out or disengaged, practicing more invigorating type of breath can be more enlivening and bring up a little more energy into your system. So a breath that would be more energizing is what we call Kapalabhati breath in yoga, or breath of fire. And it's focusing on the exhale. So the in-breath is happening naturally, but the exhale is coming from the experience of drawing the diaphragm in. So bringing your hand just below your breastbone is where your diaphragm is. And if you can draw that back, almost pushing the exhale out. So try that with me now. The inhale happens naturally between the exhales. If you're new to this practice, starting with around 6 to 10 exhales, force exhales out, will help begin to invigorate and enliven the nervous system, engage and increase the heart rate, and bring more awareness back into the body. So practicing breathing exercises that can either calm the nervous system or engage and heighten the energy of the nervous system are really essential. Additionally, if and when you are in a situation where you feel charged, or you start to notice that your heart rate's increasing, your cheeks are getting flushed, your stomach is constricting, you're starting to feel a little energy running through you and you don't know what's going to happen, you feel a little scared. There are ways that you can calm yourself and navigate those moments where not many people who might be around you can even notice. One way that I like to teach is to make sure you bring your fingertips together. Now you can keep it up high or you can just keep it low. You can't see me now, but my hands are between my legs. I'm sitting on a chair. And imagine you're in a situation where somebody says something to you and you find it really charged and really triggering for you. You don't have to respond right away. Common practice between relationships is that we hear something that's triggering and we tend to bite back. But this is where learning how to engage your nervous system and learn how to be flexible can be really helpful for you and your relationships. So bring your fingertips together and imagine someone says something that's really charged and maybe irritating and annoying to you. And you just simply inhale on a count of 5. And on each count, you're pressing first your pinky, your ring finger, your middle finger, your index finger, your pointer finger, and your thumb together. So it's going to go like this. Inhale. Then exhale. Making contact with yourself through your breath. Find your ground before you react. Will help you learn to cultivate more of what would be a natural, perhaps more healthy response. Another technique that you can utilize is bilateral stimulation. The whole practice of EMDR is grounded in the utility and power of bilateral stimulation. And that is simply just, you can do bilateral stimulation, which is tapping left and right in a rhythm. And you can do this in a way that, again, no one needs to notice. A more visible way is by crossing your hands and tapping. Again, breathing along with the tapping. Or if you're, again, finding yourself in a situation that is charged and activating for your nervous system, you can tap your feet. You take a moment to breathe and pause, or you can't see me again, but I'm just tapping my hands left to right above my knees. And you can do that in a way that, again, nobody needs to notice. It can be your own way to self-soothe, to ground, to, make connection with yourself. And it gives you a chance to pause, to reflect. That is yours and yours alone. to find what it is that you need to do or say or don't do or don't need to say in the next moment. So these are just a few techniques that I'd like to share with you to help begin to cultivate that flexibility of moving up and down the ladder of your nervous system. Again, moving from, say, a sympathetic charged hypervigilant reaction to a ventral vagal, relaxed, fluid, engaged, safe place, or alternatively moving from a dorsal vagal, shut down, checked out, lethargic, disengaged place to more of an engaged, enlivened, and safe place. Be well, take good care of yourself, take good care of your nervous system, and your nervous system will take care of you back.